So hey guys, Sneaky Vader back here again with another video. It's been probably recently, or about a year since I did another video. It was on Mjolnir, I believe. I'd have to actually check, but I think that's what it was. I was actually recently thinking about doing a review on this bad boy, so if you guys want to see that, say in the comments below. But today's not about Avengers or Marvel or anything else like that. It is about Walking Dead. And I know my shirt can be kind of misleading, but we're just going to jump right into it because I have a lot of opinions. And obviously, if you guys didn't see the episode last night, why are you watching this? Go watch it first and then come back. It is, take some of the stuff that I say with a grain of salt. Because overall, it was a good episode. Better than some of the episodes we saw in Season 8. Which is why I didn't do reviews on them. Because I had a lot of mixed opinions and it was just going to get too complicated. So overall, I thought last night's episode was good. It was well done. A lot of walker kills, other stuff like that. It was great. But there were some problems. So, like I said, if you guys haven't seen, get out. This is definitely going to be way spoiler. I'm not going to try to divide it or anything like that. So, cool. Alright. So, last night's episode was supposed to be Rick Grimes' last episode on The Walking Dead. Now, if you guys saw the episode, you know that if you watch Talking Dead, it is, in fact, his last episode. But it is not it's not Rick Grimes' last appearance. So that doesn't mean he's going to come back as a walker. If you guys saw the end, he got saved by Jadis, which is most likely part of the Whisperers, but we're not entirely sure on that. That's kind of a whole another video. But he gets saved, and then if you watch Talking Dead, Scott and Gimple is like, oh, well, we're going to make like a film series out of it. And when I heard that, I'm just like, why? This is kind of becoming a problem everywhere now. Sorry about that. Shows, movies, they want to try to get as much out of a series or a movie or comics or whatever as possible. And I'm afraid that's what Walking Dead's going to start to do. They're not really going to care about plot. Like, if you guys saw the episode, you realize that Rick pretty much died. How many times did he die? He died. Oh, no. He got saved that one time when it was a delusion or illusion or whatever, and then, which, I mean, doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever. And then when he fell off the bridge, you thought, so he got saved, actually, then he fell off the bridge, or blew up on the bridge, and for all intents and purposes, that definitely should have killed him. That was stupid, made no sense, and I don't see how he would have got into the river since he was all the way on the other side of the bridge. Technically, he might have got, like, hurt, maybe blasted back. If I were him, I would have walked away and shot, but whatever. I was kind of worried, actually, the whole episode, if, like, they were actually going to get there, but he was just going to bleed out, and I'm like, that's terrible. But I thought the way, originally, when I saw the explosion, I'm like, okay, good way to go. He saved the crowd, makes sense. But then he washed up on the beach, and I'm like, no, you need to stop. That made no sense, because he was on the other side of the bridge, and then it collapses in the middle, and then he's all the way, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it's awful. And I think a lot of people agree with me. I've talked to some people about this. They have mixed feelings. It's like, oh, I'm so happy that he lived. It's like, every show, I love Walking Dead. I love Marvel, DC, for the most part, like, cartoon-wise. But everything needs to come to a close. Take Parks and Rec, for example. That was a great show. And as much as I would like to see maybe how they're doing today, they really should not redo the show or revise it. It was a great ending. It tied up all loose ends. It was, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, then I don't know. A lot of shows have bad endings. MASH, for example. MASH had a good ending, if you guys watch that. But if you just keep, like, that was kind of a problem with Winter Soldier I had somewhat in the movie, where Nick was dead, and then he was alive, and then you heard Coulson was dead, and then he was alive. It's like, oh, come on, stop. You need to kill characters. Because otherwise, you're just going to keep the plot at a halt. And then nothing can progress. You can add new characters as much as you want, but those old characters are just going to start to become dull and boring. And then when they finally do die, no one's going to believe it. And it's just, another good example is when Carl died. They milked his death out of that hour and a half. it was awful. No one really, at the end, I was like, okay, yeah, Carl, you just need to die. I'm kind of sick of this episode at this point, because it was only about Carl dying. I mean, there was the other stuff with Carol and Ezekiel, but that was really good. I enjoyed that. I liked when they switched back to that and, showed, like, Ezekiel's, even without Shiva, he's still really cool. But back to last night's episode, you also had the whole thing with Maggie and Negan. If you guys read the comics, you realize that was pretty much right out of the comics, except for he wasn't in the jail cell. He was in just some old abandoned place. But I thought that was really good. I thought that was perfect. They definitely added that in. That was good. But Rick's death, it should have happened. Because now what's going to happen is they are going to milk every last cent they can out of The Walking Dead until it is nothing. And it's awful. It's sad. Kind of like DC, like how they're just producing movies and just worrying about money and profit instead of thinking, hey, maybe a good storyline is a good idea for fans. It's sad, but it's true. And Walking Dead's kind of becoming the same way. And I hate to say it, but I mean, at some point you need to end a show. It needs to happen, no matter what. Like, as good as a show may be, it needs to come to a close. Always. And a better close, like unlike the original Teen Titans show, if you guys watched that, the last episode was some weird monster. We never really even learned about his backstory or anything. Kind of lame. But it was Tara had actually come back and she lost her memory or something. And Beast Boy was like trying to get her to try to remember and be part of the team. And then he kind of like talks to her and then that's it. And then the series got canceled. And it's really disappointing. And that's kind of probably what's going to happen with Walking Dead, because it just... What they should have done, in my opinion, is, okay, the bridge blowing up with Rick, I thought that was good. That was a good send-off. But keeping him alive is awful, because they said that this was going to be his last episode, which means, he's going to die. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But then when he got saved by Jadis, I'm like, no, it needs to stop. So, overall, I think Rick, he should have died. As much as I like the character, he hasn't really had much development. He's just, and not to mention, he wants to spend time with his family, right? Andrew Lincoln said. And it seems like, from what I've seen, is Walking Dead will be filming... so summer to fall, that's about their film time seeming. Because last year, Norman Reedus was talking about how they filmed up to Thanksgiving from sometime in June or July, one of the two. So that's 2 months, or 2 seasons out of the 4 seasons that you can spend with your family. So I don't see a big problem with that, though. If you take a movie like Infinity War, they could pretty much film at all seasons of the year. So I feel like, I could be wrong on this, but a movie would actually take up more of your time than a TV show would. Especially from how the film schedule goes. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion, my point of view. So yeah, I don't know if you guys agree with me on that. I personally think Rick definitely should have died last night, especially when they keep hyping it up. Oh, it's his last episode. It's like, psych, he's going to still be alive. We're going to make a little film series. It would be great. And, yeah. It's sad to say, but they're literally they care more about profit at this point than actual plot lines. And it's sad. But it's true. And I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, Walking Dead died so many years ago on the episode with where Glenn and Abraham got their heads smashed in, which was Day Will Come When You Won't Be. Season 7, episode 1, where they die. People were like, oh wow, after that it was kind of it was dull and boring. And I mean, I can kind of agree, but when else have we seen a terrible season? Season 2. And I don't hear a lot of people, I don't know if, this is actually a lot of people, I can actually say personally, I've asked a lot of people, and they hate Season 2. If they would rather watch, say, Season 7, Season 8, or Season 2, they would go with Season 7 or Season 8. It's just, the first half is awful. The whole Sophia thing loses everybody. And it's really dumb. So anyone who says that Season 7 and Season 8 are really bad, they're not that bad. Compared to Sophia, it's worse. Although you do get Herschel in the episode. And I did like also last night when we got to see Shane again, and Herschel and Sasha, Abraham, they were in the mix apparently. I saw on IMDb. Apparently I could be wrong, but who knows. But I thought it was cool to see all the characters, and he was making peace with everybody, and by the end of the episode, everyone was kind of like, okay, Rick, it is your time to go. And then they wash him up on the beach, and everyone, or at least most of the people in my household, were pretty upset, because you don't just do that. If you say somebody, well, not say somebody's gonna die, but if you allude to it, then they need to just die. That's a big problem I had. And it kind of makes you really want Rick to get out of the story, which he is gone from the episodes or the TV show story. It's going to go in the movies or whatever. I'm not worried about that, or care less. Rick, in my opinion, should definitely have died. And then I think the jump is interesting overall. It's weird how they did it. Well, not weird how they did it, but weird that they did it really at all. I mean, I guess it makes sense because in the comics, a lot of the flow happened with Rick, and without Rick, you kind of need to get some stronger characters. So I think it's cool that they made Judith a little bit older and kind of like a younger Carl in a way. Like Carl from Season 1 or Season 2, which was interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out and how well. But overall, that's my opinion. I felt like I really had to make a video on this. I want to see what you guys think. Overall, I really think Rick should have died last night. I don't think they should expand it into some other universe or anything like that. I think they should have just cut it, and that would have been fine, and people would have been fine with it. Because they kept alluding to it and alluding to it and alluding to it, and then they didn't do it. And that, it makes some people upset like me. Like, I'm still kind of salty about it. But I'll probably get over it. It's just a TV show after all. But yeah, so I know that probably a year ago when I did my last video, it was like, oh, I'll try to do a video up every week, like Wednesday and Sunday or something. That's kind of got thrown out of the mix. I've just been very busy with school and, thinking, what do I want to do after high school? I'm not entirely sure, so I should probably try to figure that out before it happens. And, I kind of want to worry about other things than, I mean, YouTube it's cool and all, but I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of like a social media platform. It's not quite a job unless you do, like, YouTube Red or some of the acting stuff that some YouTubers do. Other than that, though, I don't know if you should just, I don't know. So, overall, that's my review. Tell me, guys, what you think about the episode in the comments below. Try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, because some people like to jump in and then look at the comments for whatever reason. I don't know. It's technically on them, but whatever. And I want to do a review on the new Halloween movie that came out this year in October. Try to get that up sometime, maybe not. We'll see. It depends on my schedule. I'm very busy nowadays. I didn't think it's not really high school. It's more so just life, just thinking about what you want to do and all this other stuff, and thinking about how much time do I have to do this to get to this place and all this other. So overall, I thought the episode was good. I just really think Rick should have died. Tell me, guys, what you think in the comments below. And tell me also, the guy on the radio, I don't know if it's just me, but it sounds a lot like Mark Hamill. If you guys go back in to last week's episode, no, 2 weeks ago, third episode. No, that's not right. Is that right? Third episode and this episode, the guy on the radio sounds a lot like Mark Hamill. I could be wrong. I very much so could, but I think it would be cool to throw Mark Hamill in there, because you would add a new character, and, it's a pretty good character. Although in another sort of speak, you could be like, oh, they're just throwing a popular character in there to try to get more viewers, which is possible, which, I mean, they might need it. So, that's my review. Tell me, guys, what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you whenever. Should be never. Who knows? Alright. Peace, guys.